community is just absolutely in such support of this gentleman here. Craig Cope, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we'll start right away because we don't have a lot of time, but when this happened to you on Sunday and you saw them coming in that door with that weapon that appeared to be an AR-15, what were your thoughts?
There wasn't much time to think about it. It was just the guy pointed the gun directly at me, then it's him or me.
You acted right away. Frankly, if it had been me, I'd probably be dead. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd freeze, but you knew.
Yeah, I am not going to give him the chance. I mean, if I recognize the weapon, that's a semi-automatic gun, fast you can pull the trigger, maybe someone convert it to automatic, it's equivalent of a machine gun. I'm not going to let him get the first shot off at that point.
The reaction, not just here in Norco, but in Southern California, has been incredible. People and business owners who say, we are so tired of this crime wave. We are so glad that you defended your business.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I did anything that somebody else wouldn't have done, but two things. We need more people to stand up, but more than that, probably get on the wrong side of some people here, but the politicians, there's people out there that are not the best of people. There's people that choose to be burglars. There's people that choose to be armed robbers. And I had one guy one time, he told me specifically he was a burglar. I mean, I had him in handcuffs. He was going to jail, and he's talking to me. He's a burglar. He says, that's what I do. He says, I wait till it gets dark and I go burglarize places. So these people that continually get let out now, it's been really bad the last year. Those people, the majority of them, are going to go right back to what they used to do. So the crime rate is escalating. It's going to continue to escalate until they start putting the people away that are doing the bad things. And as far as here and my place, it wouldn't have done any good to call the local sheriffs. They can't get here that quick. This whole thing, from the time I saw them coming around the side of the building to coming in the door, and what happened, 10 seconds. The actual thing from when he pointed his gun at me, half, 3/4 of a second, because I'm not waiting. When you point that gun directly at me and you're that close to me and I see what you're carrying, I'm not waiting.
Now, you saw them in the parking lot, and the first tip-off was when he put his mask over his face?
First tip-off, I saw him through the front door drive into this parking lot. But they didn't park where a normal person would park. So that was a red flag. Then they parked on the side of the building where they're basically out of sight. That was the second red flag. When I looked and saw them getting out of the vehicle, they got gloves, masks, a weapon. That just solidified the deal for me. I knew what was coming.
Now, right after the shooting, you got sick. You had a heart attack. How are you doing?
As far as I know, I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better than I was that night.
Was traumatic?
Yeah, I don't know what caused it. Maybe I'm just old.
Well, you're 80 years old, and we're all in shock and just amazed at how you reacted in such an intense moment with that man walking in with that weapon. What's your advice to business owners who are just so fed up with this crime?
Okay, yeah, you can do what I did, but what you really need to do is put some pressure on the politicians, because they got no clue what's really going on out here in the real world. I could start naming names, but there's a whole lot of them that are creating major problems for business owners, but for local law enforcement, they're creating problems for them. I'm sure they go out and risk their lives taking people into custody to see them get let out with no bail. And a lot of these people are career criminals. I'm not talking about the guy that goofed up one time, made one mistake. I'm talking about the career criminals. They're career criminals. They need to be locked up.
So if this were to happen again, you would not hesitate?
No.
Your message to the bad guys?
This isn't a good place to pick.
Yeah, that's right. This isn't a good place to pick. So anybody thinking about it, not a good idea. Thank you so much for speaking with us, and I'm so glad that you're doing so much better. Thank you. All right, Marla, Alex, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Gina, one question for him. Was he in the military? Does he have much experience with shooting? Where, you know, how is he such a good shot?
Alex is asking, how are you such a good shot? Were you in the military? Do you have experience?
When I was a kid, when I was 10, I had a gun, and I grew up in Illinois. We had a lot of small game, squirrels, rabbits, quail. I put a lot of food on the table on a regular basis, and I had a single shot, so ammunition was expensive when I had to buy it myself. 50 cents was a lot of money, and you don't want to miss. You single shot, don't miss.
Yeah.
So it still holds true. Don't
Well,
miss.
there you go. I tell you, under pressure with that kind of like fear, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm so glad you're doing well. And the suspects, they were busted. The one who was shot in the arm, he's lucky he's alive, actually. Don't you think?
Right.
Yeah, he will be arrested once he gets out of the hospital. Alex? Marla?
Well, we're so glad that Craig is well enough to, A, be back at work and be with us tonight and take the time out to talk to you, Gina. Thank you so much. Thank you both.